body, then the Hindu push-up is your exercise. Here's how to do it with perfect form, all right? You're gonna start on the ground in what's called a downward dog position. Right here, the most important thing is not bringing your heels to the ground, but rather bringing your head between your shoulders. This is gonna give you that upper back flexibility that's so important for guys. So press your fingertips forward, try to bring your head through your arms as much as possible, and try to bring your belly button towards your thighs. Now from there, lock the legs, and try to drop your heels as much as you can. You'll feel a deep calf stretch. Now bend your elbows and go as deep as you can. I like to go until my nose is basically grazing the ground and come into the bottom of a push-up position. Now squeeze your glutes tight, extend your hips, and come into this upward dog position. So don't let your thighs rest. Everything is active the whole time. Now you're going to exhale here, and you're gonna inhale as you come through. So once it gets a little faster, you can get a nice motion going, right? So exhale, inhale, exhale. Just an amazing exercise for your chest, for your arms, for your full body, and for flexibility at the same time. Now if that's too hard, you can do an easier variation where you just go from the downward dog position to the upward dog position without bending your arms. That's a fantastic variation. And if you want to do a harder variation, you can do a dive bomber push-up where you bend your elbows and you come like this, and instead of just going back to the start, you bend your elbows again, come down to that push-up position, and then press your fingertips forward back into that downward dog position. So, give this exercise a shot, make sure you do it with perfect form, and it will build the chest and the arms that you really want, along with the flexibility that you really need. Tabletop lifts are one of the best exercises for men over 50. And the reason why is because men have such tight shoulders, and I don't want you to have tight shoulders, right? So the tabletop lift forces you to put your arms behind your body and really stretch the front side of your shoulders and your chest, which is so critical for a man, especially over 50, especially if you have that tight upper body. In addition to that, it's gonna work your spinal erectors, which is gonna help prevent back pain and give you a stronger core, and your glutes at the same time, which is gonna make everything easier for you. So here's how to do the tabletop lift with perfect form, and a couple variations to make it a little bit harder and a little bit easier, all right? So to start, you're gonna come down into a seated position on the ground. You're gonna point your fingertips backwards behind you, and you're gonna place your hands flat on the ground. From there, you're gonna dig your heels into the ground, okay? And you're gonna try to lift your hips to the sky as much as you possibly can. Keep your head in a nice straight line between your tailbone and there, so you don't have to look up, you don't have to look down, just keep everything in one straight line, okay? So dig those heels in, try to lift those hips up like this. Boom, as high up as you can. Try to squeeze your butt muscles. Try to really extend those shoulders. So don't shrug your shoulders forward like this, right? Pull them back and down like this. Keep those hips high. And how you do this exercise is just come down, tap your butt, repeat, drag the heels, and repeat 4 reps. Now, if this is too hard, or if you're not flexible enough, that's totally okay. Simply just come halfway up. Just lift your butt, come halfway up. You feel that big stretch in your shoulders, hold it for a second, come back down, rest for a second, and repeat. Now, if that's too easy, you can straighten your legs, and instead of bending your knees, you can drive your heels into the ground and come into what's called a reverse plank position. Really try to extend the hips and the arms as much as possible in this position, and you're gonna feel all the muscles of your lower back, the backs of your arms, and even your shoulders working extra hard if you try this more advanced variation. So, make sure you do tabletop lifts. It's gonna give you that better posture. It's gonna stretch the chest and shoulders. It's gonna make you feel significantly better. One of the biggest problems men over 50 have when choosing exercises is that men over 50 hurt their backs. And there's a reason for that. Men over 50 do not know how to properly hinge the hip and extend the hips, right? This is because for so long, we don't work on our glutes and we don't work on our posture throughout that movement. So, if you want to work your backside, your spinal erectors, your posture, even your glutes to give you more strength and more core strength at the same time, then frog deadlifts are the exercise for you. So, to start, bring your feet slightly outside of hip width with toes turned outward. From there, you're gonna put 90% of the weight on your heels as you push your butt back towards the wall, almost like you're trying to knock somebody over behind you. Now, make sure that your spine stays one long piece from your tailbone to the top of your head. So what that means is don't round your back as you come down, all right? So let's give it a shot. 90% on the heels, push your butt back. Okay to bend those knees a little bit. Come down as far as you can, keeping your back flat. For some of you, that means hands to the ground, which is awesome. For some of you, that means hands to your shin. For some of you, that might mean hands to your knees. Any depth is fine. What's most important is that you keep your back flat and you don't round your back at the bottom position. Now, go a little bit faster and try to do a few reps with perfect form. Inhale as you go down, exhale as you come up. Remember, weight on the heels, butt back, and extend those hips at the top, meaning full extension, squeeze your butt at the top position, and even squeeze your core a little bit. Now, if you do this exercise for 2 or 3 reps, you might be thinking to yourself, that's not too bad. But if you do 20 or 30 reps and you do 2 or 3 times around, well, now you've got an exercise that's really gonna work your backside while also improving your posture, strengthening your core, and helping you understand how to move properly so you can avoid injuring your lower back. Now, if that's too hard, remember, just reduce the range of motion, come down as far as you can, and go back up, right? And if that's too easy, well, you can add a little hop to the top, where you come down, touch your fingers to the ground, stand up, and give it a hop. And the faster you go on that one, the more it's gonna burn fat and get your heart rate through the roof at the same time. So, if you wanna work on that proper hip hinge, that core strength, working on your glutes, and getting your heart rate through the roof at the same time, do frog deadlifts. I promise, you won't regret it. If you're a guy, then I'll bet that you want nice arms and a nice chest, am I right? Well, if you're over 50, then I'll bet you're pretty tight in those areas too. Well, I'm gonna show you an exercise that's great for men over 50. That's not only gonna build big, strong arms, but also a nice chest while improving your flexibility at the same time. This is called the chair dip, all right? And why the chair dip is so great is because so many people focus on their biceps when they're doing curls and things like that, thinking that's gonna make their arms bigger. But there's only 2 heads of the bicep, and there's 3 heads of the tricep. And the 3 heads of the tricep working mean that you can actually get bigger arms faster if you work the triceps more instead of the biceps. So here's how to do the chair dip with perfect form, and I'll show you a simple variation and a little bit harder variation to make it easier for you. All right, to start, you'll need a chair, and what you're gonna do is put your hands right by your hips with your fingertips facing straight forward. You're gonna press your palms into the chair. You're gonna bring your feet a little bit forward like this. And I'm gonna start you out with bent knees. If it's hard to do bent knees, you can also spread the legs a little bit wider, which makes it a little bit easier. But from here, I want you to pull your shoulder blades back and push your hands down. So you should always have this posture right here. So never slump forward, never shrugged up like this. Always good posture in that position. Now from there, keep that position in your upper body, your upper back. Come down as deep as you can. If you can tap your butt on the ground, great. If you can't, that's fine. And extend up and really lock the arms at the top position and feel those triceps working at the top position, okay? Inhale as you go down, exhale as you go up, making sure that shoulder position stays good the whole time, okay? Now, if that's too hard for you, then you can make it a little bit easier by bringing your feet a little bit closer and bending your knees a little bit more. And you don't even have to go all the way down. You can just do a little squat like this and back up. You're still gonna work your flexibility of your chest. You're still gonna work those arms. It's gonna still be a great exercise. If that is too easy for you, and the first exercise is too easy for you, make it harder by going straight legs and making your legs together and going all the way down to the bottom position, keeping those shoulder blades back and all the way up. That's gonna make it significantly harder. So remember, if you want nice arms and a nice chest while also getting the flexibility that you need, do chair dips. If you're a man and you're over 50, then I bet anything that you have tight hips. You probably have tight hamstrings too. So this exercise is a killer exercise for men over 50 to develop strength and flexibility in their lower body all at the same time. It's called the bootstrapper, and here's how to do it with perfect form, okay? To start, you're gonna need to figure out how far forward you can bend. So bring your legs with your toes slightly outside of hip width and slightly turned outward in a squat position. From there, come down as far as you can. Don't worry about keeping your back flat. You can just round your back, and wherever you end up is where I want you to put your hands and grab your legs. So if it's on your shins, fine. Ankles, fine. And if it's on the ground, even better. If you can grab your toes like this, even better. The lower you can get, the better it is for this exercise. So from there, you're going to pull with your arms like you're trying to do a row, and you're gonna pull your butt down into the bottom position as low as you can get. And mess around with the feet position. Try to find the spot where you feel the most flexible. And when you get down to the bottom, pull the shoulder blades back, tall to the top of your head, and try to see if you can sit in this position for just a sec. Now press into the feet, and really, really still pulling up on the arms. Come down and see how close you can bring your head and your chest towards your legs. And again, doesn't matter how deep you are. I don't care if you're up here and you're going squat like this and extend down like that. It's still a start. And over time, what you want to do is work your hands down towards your toes. Now from there, you're going to inhale as you go down. And if you need to, you can exhale here, get a little more depth. Exhale as you come up on each position. And just move back and forth between position to position over and over again. Such an amazing exercise for opening up the hips, stretching the hamstrings, the lower back, and creating strength all at the same time. Do bootstrappers. I promise it's one of the best exercises for men over 50. All right, now that you know the 5 exercises that every man over 50 should do to increase your flexibility, improve your posture, increase your core strength, build a little bit more muscle tone, I'm going to tell you how to put these together into a routine that you can use to get amazing results. I'm also going to give you some other tips along the way, so stay tuned because you're going to want to know how to put these 5 exercises into a routine that's going to help you get the results you're after. Here's 3 tips for men over 50 who want to see better results from your workouts. First, after your workout, make sure you stay active. Move your body, stretch, do a little yoga. Men have a tendency to just focus on exercise and not enough on moving their body functionally or creating flexibility. So prioritize this. Even 5 to 10 minutes every single day doing a few simple stretches can make a huge difference on your overall results and your flexibility at the same time. Next, make sure you consume enough protein. When you work out hard, you need protein to rebuild your muscles. Plus, there's a ton of benefits that protein provides, including reducing your hunger cravings for the foods that you should avoid if you want to lean up. So, make sure you eat protein at every single meal. And finally, your body cannot recover if you don't get a good night's sleep. So, don't just grin and bear it and try to get by with 4 or 5 hours a night. You're not going to see the results you're after if you do that. Try to aim for 7.5 hours at minimum every single night. That's going to help you recover faster and get you better results from your workouts. Bonus tips! All right, just to review, the 5 exercises that you're putting into routine are Hindu push-ups, tabletop lifts, frog deadlifts, chair dips, and bootstrappers. Now, how do you put this together into a simple routine that you can use? Well, simply go from exercise to exercise with a little bit of work followed by a little bit of rest. A simple thing you can try is doing 30 seconds of work followed by 15 seconds of rest. So what that looks like is 30 seconds of Hindu push-ups, 15 seconds of rest, 30 seconds of tabletop lifts, 15 seconds of rest, and so on through the frog deadlifts, chair dips, and bootstrappers. And then bring it back around to the top to the Hindu push-ups and do that for 3 full rounds. This workout will be incredibly short, really easy to apply, and if you follow along to it just 3 days a week, you're not only going to improve your posture, increase your flexibility,